Hi everyone, welcome to the earring project of the homemade Cricut event. I don't know if you're as excited as I am, but I can't wait to make these earrings. So if you don't know me, my name is Natalie and I have a site and a YouTube channel that is called Nilly Design. So enough chit chat, I'm sure you can't wait to start the project, so let's do it right now. So what you'll need for this project, first of course wood veneer. So you can either choose the walnut veneer or the maple veneer, so one or the other is fine. Of course the vinyl that was in the homemade box is the this one and this one. So you either have the copper one or the silver one, so whichever you want. And for these two materials, well, we're gonna need to have two mats. The first mat is the purple mat for the wood veneer, and the second one will be the green mat for the adhesive foil. Of course, we're gonna need transfer paper. So in order to transfer the vinyl onto the wood veneer, we're gonna need the transfer paper. So here it is. It's also in your box. What's not in your box is parchment paper, and it's absolutely not mandatory, but I have a little trick that I use to place the vinyl, to transfer the vinyl on the wood veneer that I really want to show you, so that's why. So if you have a little piece of parchment paper on hand, take it. You're going to need some masking tape. Masking tape is used to really secure the wood veneer onto the purple mat. Usually when you use the purple mat, you really need masking tape to make sure the materials don't move. So that's it. Of course, to cut wood veneer, you're going to need the deep point blade. So the deep point blade is in your homemade box also. It's the black blade, and this will cut wood veneer, whether you have an Explorer or a Maker. So this is pretty cool. Of course, you're going to need findings to make the earrings. So I have my findings right here and the little plier, and I like to put them in a little bowl so they are ready to use. And of course, you're going to need scissors. You're going to need some weeding tools. And also, one thing that you can have is a little sanding paper. You just need a little piece. Honestly, it's wood veneer. Sometimes it has some little dents in it and you want to sand them. So if you don't have any sanding paper, you can use a nail file. It also works pretty well. So don't worry about this. And one thing that I like to use is my brayer. And the reason for that is when you apply some vinyl on your mat, you can really rub like this. But with wood, you don't really want to rub like this. It's not really great for your hands. So I like to use my brayer to really apply the wood veneer onto the mat and make sure it is really sticking there. So I'm going to move everything aside and we're going to be ready to make it. So before we go to design space, I want to show you what we're going to make exactly precisely. These are the earrings that I probably wear, and I have the flower ones, but I also have the pattern, the leopard pattern that I also have here, and I want to show them to you very closely. So these are the earrings we're going to make. It implies that we make a lot of circles. So the first one is the big circle right here. When I talk about the big circle, it's the bottom one. When I will talk about the small circle, it will be the top one. And we're going to need another circle to cut the bottom circle. And of course, we're going to need some more circles to make the little holes. So I'm going to show you how to make all of this. You're going to see it looks complicated, but it's very simple. One important thing that I want you to notice is that there are on both sides some vinyl. So they are pretty light earrings. I love them for that, but they really do move a lot. So I want to have vinyl on both sides. So let's go into design space. I'm going to take my computer right here and put it right there. Usually I will tell you to make a test cut before doing anything, but since this design is so small, it will kind of act as a test cut anyway, because you're going to be using like this big of veneer and this big of vinyl. So usually I make people do a little A. You'll see on my YouTube channel, I have this video where I show exactly how to do a test cut, which I think is really important when you have a very, very large design because you don't want to waste any materials. But now, since it's so tiny, I mean, let's not lose any time. I'm sure you want to do these earrings too, so let's do it. So in design space, when you open it, this is where you are. So you're going to select new project. And as I showed you, we're going to be making a lot of circles. So I have a little paper right here that I noted what are the size of the circle, but seriously, you can really do the size you want. If you prefer to have bigger earrings, smaller earrings, whatever, you can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of the Cricut. So I'm gonna give you the exact size that I made mine. If you like these or you want to try first these ones, well, this is what I have. So first off, the big circle. Let's do a circle. The big circle, I made it at 1.2 inches. This is 3 centimeters in case some people want to have it in centimeters. I am bilingual, so 1.2 inches. But I do work in inches on my Canva. Don't ask me. So I'm going to be zooming in, and one trick I like to do is really to put my things I make near 0, 0, because if you start drawing in the middle of your Canva, you might lose your drawing and really look where they are. So that's why I like to put them at near 0, 0, so I always know where they are. If you want to do that, you can just move them all the way there, or you can go here to more, you have position, and you can just type in 0, 0 and it will go straight to 0, 0. Just a little trick like that. So the first circle is 1.2 inches and the other circle is half of it, so 0.6 inches. So I don't know about you, but I hate this color. So right away what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the color to a paler gray or whatever. I could go and take the color of my wood veneer, the one I'm choosing. It's going to sometimes help visualize. So, but for now I'm going to leave it to this pale gray. So what I could do, I could draw another circle, or I can go here and click on duplicate and just write 0.6 inches. 0.6. 0.6 inches is 1.5 centimeters. So this is the top of the earrings. Now what we need to do is like make a cut in this circle, and for that we're going to use another circle, and this one is going to be a circle of 0.85 inches, so 2.2 centimeters. So let's write here 0.85, enter. Now I'm doing this very slowly so that you can follow along. If I'm too slow for you, well, take a sip of coffee, I don't know. But seriously, I'm gonna go slow so that everybody can follow whatever level you are in design space. I hope it helps everyone. I'm gonna give you little tricks along the way, so. Okay, so now what we want to do, let me zoom in a bit so we can see very closely. What I like to do to know where to cut, if you want to be precise, don't have to do this, like I said. I like to be precise. I want to kind of cut this circle a quarter of the way. So not, that's half, that's why I'm positioning my circle in this square, in this grid. And I can see that if I go 2 little lines, if you're in inches like me, 2 little lines will bring me around here. You really go as you like. It's going to cut the circle, and this is what you're going to be left with. So really go with what's pleasing your eye. One thing though I like to do, and I absolutely cannot avoid this, is to select both of them. So for that, you can press on the left button of your mouse and hold it to select both layers. Or you could select one, use the shift key, and select the other one. You can see here in the layer panel, both are selected. So what I do, and I feel this is mandatory, but it's probably just me, I want it to be very equal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to align and go to center horizontally so that they are perfectly aligned. That's what I like. And while they are selected, I'm going to click on slice. Now before I do that, if I want to take a little note of these functions right here, and if you are confused about them, well, you can really download my free cheat sheet that I have that will really, in a blink of an eye, you'll know what every function does. It really helps, seriously. So if you want to get them, go to NatalieDesign.com/homemade, and you will have this free cheat sheet, but also a lot of others, and also some little specials that I have just for you. So we're ready. We're going to click slice. And what I want to bring your attention to is that in the layer panel, you'll have 4 slice results, and you have another circle. Well, the other circle is the circle that is right here. But now what we want to know is the slice result. What we need in the slice result is only 1 out of the 4 layers. So what we need to do is get rid of the other ones. So here you can click on the X, that's one option. You can select here and just go here in the layer panel. You have a delete button that you can use too. are in the layer panel, you can click it and use your key on your keyboard, the delete key. So click on the delete key and here it is. So now we have both pieces of our earrings. The only thing we need to do now is to make the holes. So with another circle that we're going to be drawing, these ones are going to be very small. So they are 0.07 inches. That's 0.18 centimeters. So really 0.07, very small. Enter. So here they are. I'm going to zoom in to make sure you see very clearly. And what I want you to do is to position them approximately the same spacing as the width of the circle. So you see this is the width of the circle. So you're going to position them almost here, maybe a little bit less. So like this. And you have one. We're going to need one here and we're going to need another one here. So we're going to duplicate it twice. So I'm here clicking duplicate, duplicate. So I have it twice. I'm going to put it here. And then I'm going to put this one right here. So let me see. I feel this one is a bit close. This one too. Yeah, like this they are better. So of course, again, we're going to align them because I want them exactly in the middle. And so I'm going to use my shift key to select both of them. Make sure both layers are selected. Click on align and click on center horizontally. See, it moved a bit. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the 3 other layers. So circle, circle, using the shift key again, align and center. What we want to do is make holes in the circles. So we're going to use slice again. Now, one thing I want to show you is that slice can only be done on 2 layers at a time. So if I select the 3 layers right here, you see that the slice function has disappeared. That's because of what I told you. You can only use slice on 2 layers at a time. So you have 2 options. Either you select the circle and you go slice and you erase the layers that you don't want. And then you do it again. But I like to be a little bit more efficient. So I'm going to show you a little trick. You're going to select this circle and this one. And what we're going to do, we're going to weld them. So when we weld, what it does is that it puts everything on one layer. So let me weld this and show you that you have a weld result of 1 layer with 2 little circles on it. So even if they're not overlapping, even if they're not touching, you can still weld layers. So that's cool because now we can click on weld and we can click on the gray circle. And now we only have 2 layers and we're able to slice. So that really helps. When you have a lot of slicing to do, you can weld before. Remember that. So I'm going to do slice. And what we want to keep, of course, is the earring, not the little holes. So I'm going to use the delete key and just delete them like this. And we're going to be doing the same thing to the bottom. So I'm going to select both of them. And I'm going to slice and delete what I don't need. So let me zoom out a bit to show you. So we have our little earrings that are almost ready. So before we add the pattern to our earrings, I will tell you to save your project. It's something that I often forget. So please don't forget yourself. So earrings, homemade. And you can save it anywhere you want. So that's done. So for the pattern, you have the choice of a leopard pattern or a flower, or you can do whatever you want, honestly, but these are the 2 ones that I have. And in order to find them, you can click on the link that you have below this video, but honestly, I find it very complicated. It will open a new window, blah, 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 and I'm kind of a straightforward girl, so I like to use the number. So the number is the hashtag M something that you have, so you can copy and paste this number. Well, first copy it, then open image, come here and do a Control V. So paste it right here. And this is the flower one because I'm going to do the flower today. And here you have it. So just don't forget to use the hashtag before. If you don't put the hashtag in, you won't find it. So I have it right here, insert image. And now it's pretty big. So we're going to scale it down. Find the little handle. Here it is. Okay. So now what you're looking for is to try to, well, first avoid the hole. If you have the pattern, the leopard pattern, it's totally fine. I don't think it messes the pattern up. But for the flower, it's kind of, we only see that, a petal with a hole in it. So it's not very beautiful. But so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna scale that down a bit. You could put the total flower inside, but what I did is that I put just a part of the flower inside. And what I'm aiming, as I said, avoid the hole. So I think I'm going to scale that down a bit again. So like this. And another thing that I try to avoid is having only little pieces overlapping the earring. But I think we're fine like that. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you, please don't forget to do that, is to duplicate your earring. So the base of your earring, you're going to select it and duplicate it. And we're going to duplicate the base a second time, and I'm going to explain why right after. What I want you to do is to select both of them right away and make sure they are perfectly aligned, one on top of each other. So we're going to go ahead and click on center. And this is the one we're going to use to cut. So I'm going to transfer my flower on this. And if that happens to you, it's probably going to happen to you because the flower, as you can see right here, it's on the third layer. So it's really under the two first ones. So what you do is either you right click on your mouse to make this menu appear, or you can go here, click arrange and send to front. So what this does is that it will put the layer on top of all of the other layers. So you can see it here. So the flower is now on top. So if I try to arrange a flower as I did before, I think that's what I like. I'm going to click the flower to select it. It's already selected. And I'm going to select one of the base of the earring. Just one of them. So with Shift key, I select them and I'm going to click slice. The thing is that when you do that, the base of the earring now has holes in it. So of course, we don't want to keep this one. We don't want to keep the base of the earring with the holes. Let me just close the other layer so you see it. So this is the base of the earring with holes in it. We don't want that. We're going to delete it for sure. I'm going to reopen the two flowers. The two flowers are exactly the same now that we're left with both of them exactly the same. We're going to keep only one of them. I'm going to keep the purple one, so I'm going to delete the gray one using my delete key on my keyboard. And this one is the one we want to keep. The reason I want to keep this, and that's why I made you duplicate it another time, is that I want the Cricut to cut the flower, all the flower, and also the shape of the earring. So bear with me. I know it sounds confusing right now, but I'm telling you, you're gonna like it way better after that. The only thing we need to do right now is to tell Design Space that we want this to be all vinyl and we want them to cut them together. So if I go ahead and click make it, they're going to put it on a gray mat and on a purple mat and they won't go together. Even if they're the same color, it won't work because we will need to attach them to tell Design Space that we want our Cricut to cut it exactly as we see it on the Canva. So when we select both of them, we're going to click attach, and now you're going to see it and attach, and it all becomes the same color because if you want to cut them together, they need to be the same color. But I want this to be two different materials. So I want this to be wood veneer and I want this to be vinyl. So I have to tell my Cricut that I don't want them to be cut on the same mat. So I'm just going to put this one back to a purple, any purple or any color, as a matter of fact, it's totally fine. So the purple will be my adhesive foil and the gray will be my wood veneer. So let me put this on top so to have a little idea of what it's going to look like. And of course we have two earrings, so we're going to need to select all. And for that, if you don't know, there's a little button right here that's very convenient, select all. So when you have only this and you want to select everything you have on your Canva, it's really a nice shortcut. So we're going to duplicate it. And of course, I don't want the flowers to be going in the same direction on both my ears. I want them to be symmetrical. So I'm going to flip horizontal. And this is what I have. Now, another thing that I said I would do is that I need to have vinyl on both sides of the earring. And because I'm like that, I want them that if they turn, I want them to be to look exactly the same. So I want them, if the flower is going that way, Well, when it turns, I want the flower to still go that way. We're going to select both purple layers, and we're going to duplicate again. And let me zoom out so you have a better understanding. So this one's going to go on the other side of this earring, and this one is going to go on the other side of this earring. So we have 4. And now we're ready to make it. One thing I strongly suggest before you hit make it, please save again. Seriously, this is the step where you must save, because when something goes wrong, it's right here. So you're going to save it. You can save it on another name if you want, but I just click saved. So before we make it, I just wanted to have a little chat with you. So if you're not finished your design, you can continue and finish it and listen to me at the same time. I was thinking, I wanted to show you both adhesive foil that we have are copper and silver. And we also have 2 wood veneer that are both dark and light shades, so a maple shade and a walnut shade. And these earrings that I made them with the maple and the copper. So at that time it was summer, so I really felt like I had a summer vibe in, so that's what I took. But now it's fall and pumpkin, fall colors, sweater weather, I don't know. I feel like I want to make the walnut one, and I thought that the copper would really look good for fall with it, so I think I'm gonna go with this. But I thought a little bit further than this, and I thought, well, the silver one would be very nice looking with the walnut for Christmas or for winter time. So this is another thing that it's so fun. You can make 2 colors of wood veneer, 2 colors of vinyl. You can make so many things, so many different style and mood. So I just wanted to have this little chat with you. In case you're not finished your design, you can finish it. And now we're going to be ready to make it. Let's click on make it. And now, because I have a maker tree, it will ask me if I want to cut without mat or on a mat. If you have an Explorer tree, it will ask you the same thing, but otherwise you won't see this window. So I'm going to click on mat. So let me just put the computer right here so I can open my Cricut. So you open it, and of course, hit the power button. So while it's opening, I want to talk to you. You see you have 2 layers right now. So you have the gray layer and you have the purple layer. The gray layer will be the wood veneer and the purple layer the adhesive foil. So when I have small designs like this, one thing I like to do, and I will tell you, you should really do it too, is put my design on the bottom left. So I'm gonna just move these around a little bit at the bottom. Let me scroll down. No, they're not at the bottom. Now they are. And what this will do is that I'll be able to check if it has cut properly when it's unloading from the Cricut, because if it was at the top left, I wouldn't be able to do this because of the metal bar. I'll show you later. And in fact, I'm going to do the same thing with the vinyl. So I'm going to move them to the bottom left because they are very small design, and I won't be able to check if the cut is perfect. As I said, making a test cut when you have a large design is something that I firmly believe in, but this is so small that we better just put it at the bottom left and check if everything is fine. So I'm going to hit continue. Now, if you have a Cricut that has a dial, please put it on custom, so you're going to be able to follow with me and really select the materials that you need in Design Space directly and not on the dial. So at this point, Design Space is pretty clear. So you have 1, 2, and 3. So we're at step 1, set the base material. Something that is not clear that I really want you to notice is that this is kind of a pale gray at in the back. And if you notice, the pale gray goes all the way to the second mat. Because we've made changes to the second mat, well, Design Space thinks we want to cut this mat first. So let's make sure we don't make this mistake. Let's click on the first mat because we want to cut the wood veneer first. So now it's the same pale gray. So we know we're on this mat, and we're going to select the base material. For that, you're going to browse all materials and you're going to write veneer. Actually, you can write just a couple of letters and you will probably find it. So you have natural wood veneer, and I want you to notice that there's a little C with antenna right here. That means it's a Cricut material. And to click on it, well, to select it, you need to click on it and make sure you have the little green check mark right here. So now it's done. So step 1 is done. We need to go to step 2, load tools and material. So if you follow and you read very carefully, it says no tools required in clamp A. So clamp A is right here. You have an A written. It might not be the exact same thing to you, but it is written A. And you have the B right here. So in clamp B, it says to load the deep point blade. So the deep point blade is the black blade. So it's pretty easy to do. You just need to open this one like this and then remove this fine point blade. The fine point blade is the blade that comes with the Cricut, and this one you had it in your homemade box. So you're gonna put the blade like this, and it needs to hold together like this by itself. So then you close this one, and then you close this and press hard, and that's it. It's that simple. And the third step, it says load mat and press load unload button. So the load unload button is flashing right here because it wants you to load the mat. So that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to take what we're going to need: masking tape, the wood veneer, and the purple mat. So let's open this. You're gonna see that the wood veneer is very, very flexible. This is probably why the earrings are so light, but it is so beautiful. So you're gonna put it on the mat like this. And as I said before, I'm not sure you wanna rub on it. So that's why I like to use my brayer. That really helps me to apply it on the mat perfectly. So the masking tape might not be very necessary here because it is a thin material and it does stick well on the mat, especially if you have a new purple mat, the one that was in the homemade box. But it is a material that costs a lot, so you don't want to waste it and you want to make sure it cuts and it doesn't move. So a bit of masking tape is always a good idea. Well, I'm going to put it only here at the bottom because that's exactly where we're going to cut the earrings. I won't put it on the top. It doesn't really matter. So make sure to really put the tape very close to the border. So make sure you put it very close like this. You see it's very, very almost not on the wood veneer. It's just on the border. So to make sure that when it cuts the wood veneer, it doesn't go over the tape. You don't want that. And sometimes this happens. So I'm gonna get my knife. And I just go like this to remove the overflow of the tape. So to load the mat, just make sure you insert the mat under the guides and you insert it all the way through. Hold it like that and click on the load the mat button. That's it, it's ready. So you just need to click on the button. So you're going to notice that the wood veneer setting will go over 4 times. So in order to cut the veneer and be very gentle, it will pass 4 times. So don't touch it yet. You need to make sure it has cut all the way through, and that's what I like of making the cut right here. It's because if it was there, I wouldn't be able to go and check it out because it would be under the metal bar. So right here, you can just go here, and even just by bending it, you're gonna see that it is cut. It is really lifting. If not, you can use your little tool like this and check it out. But seriously, it is getting out like magic. So it's perfect. Although if it's not perfect, you can always do a second pass. So If the mat is still not unloaded, you can press back on the go button. It will go and make it again. And this is the only time when you'll have a perfect cut one over the other. If you unload the mat and try this, it won't work, I'm telling you. So you really need to check it before you unload the mat. That's very important. So that's done. We only need to remove it. You can see how easy it is. Okay, so now it's time for the vinyl. Let me get it right here. So it's the foil I'm gonna take and the green mat that we're gonna need. So let's just take a look in Design Space to see how much space it takes for the vinyl. So if I count the squares, they're like 5.5 inches, let's say 6, and almost 1.5, a bit more up. So I don't know for other country, but in North America, the Cricut vinyl has inches in the back, so it's half inches actually. So each square is a half inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5. I'm good for that length. So with my scissors, I'm gonna cut just this small piece. So 1.5. I said I'm gonna go almost to 2 because like I'm a bit paranoid. Okay. So that's it. And as we did for the wood veneer, we're gonna put this at the bottom left. So either bottom left here or here. It doesn't really matter which side you go, you put your mat in. And in Design Space, we're gonna go at Set Base Material. And you see here that I have adhesive foil right here in my favorites. I'm gonna show you how to put it there too. So let's go and browse material. Let's say I don't have it in my favorite, and I'm gonna type foil. And you have a lot of foils. So the first one up there is adhesive foil. That's the one we're going to take. And you see mine as the star. That's how you put it in your favorite. So if I go like this and I put the star, you're going to have it in your favorite. If you do this for any materials, they're going to end up in your favorite. So that's a nice thing to know. But now I need to select it. So let's put the check mark right there. And now done. Step 2 says load tools and materials. Now we have to make sure that there's still nothing in clamp A, but we need the fine point blade in clamp B, because now it's the deep point blade that's there. So we're gonna need to change it. So again, let's remove this one. The fine point blade is the blade that was originally in the maker when you bought it. So again, it stands there. So that's it. And then it says load the mat and press load and unload button. So again, we're gonna do the exact same thing. Okay, so now the light is blinking, so we're ready to make it. Just press on the button and here it goes. So now while it's cutting, you're gonna need one thing. We can already cut the transfer tape for this. So if you take your transfer tape, you're gonna need like the size of the earring, not more. So it's like 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. So again, there are some little squares on there too. So like 3 squares by 3 squares, around that, not more. So that's done. And also I want to show you a little trick that I have with parchment paper. So if you have parchment paper, you can take it also, and you're gonna cut the same size. Seriously, like same size as the transfer tape. So not much more. You can also check your wood veneer if when the cut was done, if you find that it's a bit like harsh on the sides, well, you can take your sanding paper and just like, or your nail file, seriously, and just go like this just a little bit so that it's softer and it doesn't go on your shirts and pull some strings. We don't want that. Also, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We're there. If you're watching live, we will answer as soon as we see it. And really, there's no stupid questions. We're all been beginners once, and just ask them. You'll see. I'm sure a lot of people are. If you're asking these questions in your head, probably a lot of people are asking it themselves too. So just don't be shy. Oh, and the findings, I just want to tell you, you have so many colors in the homemade box. So whether you chose the copper or the silver or whatever, you can also choose the findings, the color you want to match your earrings. So I'm going to be using the gold ones. And it's almost done, and I'm going to need my glasses, that's for sure. Yep, weeding. While it's still cutting, there's a little trick I can show you, because transfer paper, sometimes I just can't get it off the backing. I don't know if you had the same problem with this before. So I want to show you some little trick I take. Usually I take my utility knife and I cut a little piece of the backing, not the transfer paper itself, but the backing. So you're gonna need to go under it where there's no squares. So you cut a little corner, usually not on a table like that. Please have a cutting mat. I don't want to mess it up, but I'm going to do it anyway. So you don't go through, you just cut a little piece like this. And you're going to be able to peel it very easily. Now I didn't press very hard because of my table. Let me press a little bit harder. So that's what it does. Easier to peel it afterwards. So we're gonna be ready for this. Also, what I want to tell you is that foil vinyl is way more rigid than any other vinyl. So let's say you write a letter, you write a word with letters, and these words are going to be all attached together. You're going to be pulling off the little O's and the E and the O and any other letters, and this is usually what we do when we weed. We keep the word. But in this case, let's say that the petals are the holes in the E, because the petals are the ones we want to keep. So that's why it's harder, because this vinyl is so thick, it's so rigid, that these little holes, they want to pop off. So we need to find a way to, here it is. We need to find a way to keep the little petals there. So we're gonna check if it's cut. Don't get too excited, don't unload the mat yet. First we want to check if it's cut properly. Now we're gonna lift this and we're gonna check if everything is cut. So in my case, it is working. Yep. I'm gonna unload the mat. And we're gonna be cutting in 4 pieces. So you're gonna put the pieces together. So the left one with the left one and the right one with the right one. So we're gonna be making one earring first. So usually when we weed a project, I don't know if you have done some vinyls before, we usually remove all the pieces that we don't need. Well, we're not gonna do this here because of what I've told you before. The vinyl is very rigid and it just won't stay on the backing because the pieces are so small. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do kind of a reverse weeding technique, but a little more further. You'll see the reverse weeding technique consists in adding the transfer paper before removing any pieces of vinyl before weeding. So we're gonna take a transfer paper and we're gonna cover one of the earrings, and then we're gonna rub hard. The thing is that we need everything to be sticking to the transfer paper. So we remove the backing and everything needs to be on the transfer paper. So that's what we want. So this is reverse weeding. Usually at that point, you're going to be weeding and removing what you don't want from the transfer paper. But that's not what we're going to do. Because of the small pieces and because of the foil, I have found that adding it straight to the earrings is easier, way easier, let me tell you. So this is where you're going to take your parchment paper if you have it. If you don't, it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It just helps you to align with the earring. So you're going to put the transfer paper like on half of the earring. You're going to take the earring and you're going to move it. You see, you can move it very easily like that. Let me show you. You're going to try to align it really on the earring. Sorry, it's a little bit hard for me to show you with the reflection and everything. And it's so tiny. So once you have aligned it, you're going to press hard on it and you're going to rub. So this part is sticking. So what we want to do is we want to lift the transfer paper and slowly remove the parchment paper and then reapply the rest of the vinyl. So this is my trick to help you align easily. So when that's done, you're going to rub hard. And now we're going to remove all of the transfer paper, leaving everything on the earring. So slowly make sure everything stays there. I'm going to stick it back to the parchment paper or to the backing so I keep it for later. And now this is not very nice looking. But we're going to be removing what we want. So you remember when I told you about the word that was all attached together? Well, that's kind of what we're removing right now. We're going to leave all the petals of the flowers on the earrings. This is going to be way easier than trying to remove it from the backing. I'm telling you, I've tried it many times. So if you have trouble taking the vinyl, you can always take your little tweezers that are in the weeding kit. That really helps. And when you're removing, you want to remove by pressing it on it like this. So you really pull on it perpendicularly, if I can say it with my nice accent, sorry. So make sure every petal stays there. You want to remove everything else, but not the petals. They usually stay there pretty well, honestly. And if it tears like that, don't worry about it. You just continue on the other side and you get everything removed. Yay! So, this is what you're left with. Pretty cool, isn't it? So we're going to try the other side. So as I said, we want this thing to look exactly the same on one side and on the other. So I'm going to flip it over, take the same pattern that I had on the same side, and we're going to do the same thing. Now I must tell you, it doesn't take a lot of transfer paper, but it does stick less after a couple of times. And usually using a transfer paper many times is totally fine with regular vinyls, but with adhesive foil, nope. It doesn't want to be used a lot of times. So if it's not sticking enough, if you're having trouble removing the backing and everything is not staying on the transfer paper, just use another little piece. It's not that much. I'm usually pretty thrifty and I want to keep everything, but you see it doesn't want to stay. Let me rub a little bit harder. Let's see if I can make it. Okay, got it. Yes. So same thing, I'm going to use my parchment paper on half of the design, just like this, just to help me position it perfectly on the earring. And I think it's easier to have it in my hands and then trying to position it on my tables. That's why I'm holding it in my hands like that. So that works. And then let's remove the parchment paper. Like this. Let's rub on it. Try to rub on the petals of the flower, not necessarily on the rest of the foil because we're gonna be removing it, so we need to really press hard on the petals. Here it is, and now let's take a little piece of vinyl and remove the excess that we don't need. And that's it. Perfect. So as you can see, the flower is the exact same position and on this side than on this side. So that's what I like. So now what we need to do is to add the findings. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna need to put a ring here, another here to hold this earring finding. So that's what we're gonna do. In your kit, you have these pliers. You have also a kind of a tweezers that can help you also, because what you need to do, don't open the jump rings like this. If you just pull them apart, you will never be able to close them back again. They're always going to be a little dent in it and your earrings are going to fall. You really need to open like this. So you pull one hand and you push the other end, if I can say. It's way smaller, let's see. But I just want to make sure you do this, and when you close them back like this, and they're going to be really close together and you'll have no problem. So I'm going to try to show it to you, but it is pretty small. I have my glasses on and I have trouble seeing because of the lights and everything, reflection. It is very, very small. I need to find where is the opening. Here it is. I'm going to be using also the other tweezers that I had in the Cricut weeding set, and I don't know if you see, but I'm holding a piece like this and I'm pulling toward me my tweezers. So this is what you have. They are open like this. I hope you see it. I'm sorry if you don't. But so this is the first step, and once you hold them like that, you can keep holding them with your little jewelry pliers, and you're gonna insert the earring and you're gonna insert the top part. And I think I need new glasses. I can't see anything. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, don't know why. Okay, so I'm gonna be closing it. Same thing, but reverse, squeezing them back together. So you shouldn't have any distance between the little pieces, so it holds good together. So this is what it looks like right now. Second part, we're going to do the same thing with the jump ring. So let's open it. You can even do it with your fingers. It's closing them with your fingers that is a little bit hard. Like this, and now you insert the bottom and you insert the top also. And voila, that's it. They're done. Look how cute they are. I'm so happy. So I'm not gonna do the second earring. I'm gonna let you do it, and because I think it's gonna be too long for you if I weed everything and everything. So, but I'm sure you're able to do it. They are really awesome. I'm really happy I have made this project, and I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you have any questions, we're still there in the chat. Don't hesitate to ask. And I hope you really like this project, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you. Bye.